Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to talk about books. And today obviously I have more books that I bought that I need to show you.
It's coffee time.
So I decided before going to Spain I was going to haul all the books that I had accumulated. I have been accumulating some non-horror books, and I wanted to clear the slate before I go on holidays because my birthday is on the 24th of August. So I'm gonna be spending my birthday at the beach with my parents in Spain, just relaxing, not doing anything really special, just spending time with my parents. So because I don't know if I'm gonna get books for my birthday or if I'm gonna just treat myself, if my parents give me some money for books or anything, and then maybe I'll make a birthday book haul. So I wanted to show you all the books that I have accumulated so far. Everything is gonna be split into 2 videos because my other book haul is gonna be really specific and it's going to be horror vintage paperbacks. I have been lucky enough to find someone here in the Netherlands that wants to get rid of old horror paperbacks, and I'm just here for it. And I have been buying more and more books by this seller. They are not the cheapest, but they are quite cheap if you compare the eBay prices, so I am extremely grateful for that. So that's gonna be in the next book haul. Here today we're going to talk about some non-horror books and other horror, mostly new releases that I have purchased. I also wanted to mention that I do have an Amazon wishlist for books specifically, but please note you do not have to send me anything at all whatsoever. I'm not expecting anybody to send me books. The list is mostly also for me to know books that I want to get, for friends if they want to give me something, then they know which books I don't have. So I put it in the description in case somebody wants to send me something, but like I said, you don't have to. Don't feel like you have to just because it's my birthday. If you come to my Twitter, to my YouTube and say happy birthday, that's all I want. And now without further ado, let's talk about the books that I got. I forgot to mention that I'm wearing a Care Bears t-shirt and it's bringing me back to my childhood. I was obsessed as a kid with the Care Bears. I really loved them, and I just found this t-shirt on H&M because, you know, the 90s are back. And I had to buy it. I was compelled to buy this. So cheers to being a kid in the 90s. First, let's talk about a book that I actually bought in Spanish. It's from a second-hand bookstore, and I know it's number 3 in the book series, but it's a book series that I've been meaning to pick up, and because they are in Spanish I refuse to buy them in English because I can read them in the original language, and I always do that whenever I can. And that is this book over here. It is El Prisionero del Cielo. It is by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, and it is book 3 in this series. I've heard really good things about it, so now that I'm going to Spain, I think I'm gonna try to pick up book 1 and 2 in the same edition because I can go to bookstores there finally. So the series is called The Cemetery of Forgotten Books, which, you know, that title is already calling my name. And every time I saw people picking up his books and reading them, I really wanted to as well, because I feel like I don't read enough books by Spanish authors. I guess mostly is because, you know, I don't live in Spain anymore. So anyways, I saw this in a secondhand bookstore for like $1.70, so I decided to pick it up. And also at the secondhand bookstore I found a book that, you know, it was intriguing enough for me to pick it up, and it's something that I normally don't read, but it's about cats. So it's called The Cat Who Came In Off the Roof by Annie M. G. Smith, and I think it's about a woman that turns into a cat. So that's all I needed to know. That's the pitch you need to sell me a book. I don't know, it just sounded interesting and I like this like book format, so I decided why not, let's give it a try. It is about cats. Next, I picked up a copy of Loveless by Alice Oseman. You guys know I am in an Alice Oseman kind of phase and I am enjoying it. So this one is a book about an asexual character, and I'm really excited to read it. I don't think there are so many books out there that are or have an asexual character, so I'm really excited to read the story and, you know, see the representation. I'm really excited, and if it's anything similar to Heartstopper or Solitaire, I know that I'm gonna love it. Then I picked up a romance book, a rom-com that I didn't think I was gonna pick up, but then Amazon put it on sale for €5 and I'm like, I might as well get it. And that is Recommended for You by Laura Silverman. And I'm getting, you know, by the cover that it is about two people that meet maybe at a bookstore or a library and they start this love adventure. But I picked it up mostly not because it is a rom-com with books, but because I have read something by the author before. I have read this one here, You Ask for Perfect, which is a queer book that I really enjoyed and loved. So I wanted to read something else by the author, even though I don't think this one has queer representation. So I just quickly read the synopsis, and I think these are two people that work at the same bookstore, and the guy, Jack, doesn't read but somehow is selling more books than she is. So I guess this might be kind of a enemy to lovers thing, and you know, I'm a sucker for that trope, so I really hope to enjoy it. And since I've been more in the mood of, you know, sneaking in a romance book here and there, and honestly I really want to know all the queer stories, all the queer romances, I decided to pick up 4 more books that are queer romances. The first one is a new release that I stumbled upon, and I am really excited to talk about this because this is a middle grade queer book, and I feel like we need to bring that representation for middle grade readers as well. So this one is called The Language of Seabirds by Will Taylor, and it is about 2 boys in one summer that start to develop feelings for each other. And I feel like this is going to be great for kids that, you know, can't see themselves represented in a book for middle grade readers, so they don't have to wait until they are teenagers and adults to actually see themselves in books. So this book is going to be perfect also if you guys have somebody to give this to as a present, you know, so to spread the love and to spread the stories, because I feel like we need more of this. The next one is this beautiful hardcover, and it's called She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Alison Derrick. So I've already read something by Rachel Lippincott before and enjoyed it, and I'm intrigued about this story. I believe it's 2 girls that are basically developing a plan to make their girl crushes fall in love with them, but I feel like they end up falling in love for each other instead. So it's gonna be so cute. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this one, and I mean, this cover, it's just so cute. And since I recently read a book by Phil Stamper and enjoyed it, but I want to read more things by him before I make up my mind if it's gonna be an autobi author for me or not, I decided to pick up The Gravity of Us. So this is about 2 teenagers that are currently struggling because their parents are astronauts, and they are basically in the public eye in the media because they are going on a mission or something. And so they are both now thrown into this life of social media, and I guess they are going through the same experience and they're going to connect, and probably the connection is going to be a little bit more romantic than expected, something like that. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one, and yeah, I'll report back as well. And if I really love this one, I feel like then I can say that Phil Stamper is going to be an autobi author for me. And the last romance book that I have to show you is another purchase that I just randomly did through Amazon because I just cannot control myself. And that is Never Been Kissed by Timothy Janowski. But I really wanted to pick this one up because it involves movies. So one of our characters is obsessed with having the picture perfect romance and the perfect like first kiss moment, and I thought that was so cute. And it also involves a drive-in theater, so I feel like this is gonna be up my alley because it's gonna talk a lot about movies. I read a similar book with a female romance called The Falling in Love Montage, and I really enjoyed it. And in that one of the girls wanted to have that picture perfect romance, and the other one was a little bit more realistic about life. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one and see how it goes. Now let's go to the thrillers and horror books that I got, and the first ones are these that I bought all secondhand. The first book that I picked up, I was excited to pick this one up because it is a murder mystery, but it's also based on a true story, so I'm all here for it. And we are in 1843, so it's also kind of like a period story, and that is The Murder of Harriet Monckton by Elizabeth Haynes. And here our main character has been murdered, but not only that, when they do the autopsy they realize that she was 6 months pregnant, and so they now have to figure out who had a motive, who could have been at the time of death at the right place, who has killed this woman. So I think this is told through different perspectives of characters that are retelling what happened the days prior to the main character's death, something like that. But I'm just really excited because it looks like it's going to be a really interesting murder mystery. Then I picked up The Exorcist. Now I already own a copy of this book, but I own the old paperback, and this is the 40th anniversary edition, which includes extra material. It is a revised edition that the writer himself did, so I'm curious to see what was added, what is new. Maybe I'll do a reading blog in which I read both of them back to back so I can really see the differences. Maybe I'll do that, and I'll revisit the movies because, you know, I haven't watched them in some time and they still hold up. They're still really good, at least the first one. So since I found this one at the secondhand bookstore, I didn't feel so bad because I didn't have to pay full price for it since I already own the book. The next book I found on the YA section in the secondhand bookstore, and it's supposed to be sci-fi, but it sounded dark enough for me to pick it up, and that is Amongst the Hidden by Margaret Haddix. So this is part of a series of books that it's called The Shadow Children, and the Shadow Children are basically kids that are not allowed to have a normal life. They don't go to school, they don't get to make friends. They're basically banned from the police to go out of the house, I believe. So I'm just really intrigued to see why and how and where do these kids come from. The next book that I have is The Girl Who Couldn't Read by John Harding, and not much that I know about this one. I just know that this is a gothic horror story, and it was on the secondhand store for cheap, so I decided to pick it up and give it a try. Like I said, nothing more, but it has been compared to The Woman in Black, for example, so you know, that's a story that I enjoy, so hopefully I'll like this one too. And then I found a book about vampires, and when I find those, I tend to buy them. And that is The Moth Diaries by Rachel Klein, and this one also is basically with diary entries, and I love that kind of format in books. And it's about a 16-year-old girl that goes to school, and one of the schoolgirls apparently is a vampire. I think that's what we're dealing with here. Not much that I know about it. I know it's YA paranormal horror, but yeah, anything about vampires I tend to be really attracted to. And I tried to find this one online because I always double check when I'm in the secondhand bookstore, and apparently it's not so easy to find the hardbacks anymore, and the paperback has a cover that I absolutely do not like. So I decided to pick this one up instead. And now we have a couple of books that I bought new. You know, this first pick I was really excited about, and I've heard mixed reviews about it since, and now I'm a little bit scared. But it sounded so good, and it said it's for fans of Dracula, so obviously I had to pick it up. And that is Go Hunt Me by Kelly DeVos. And we follow a group of people that are invited into this castle in Romania, and they're all like horror fans, horror addicts, and when they get there, basically they start getting killed one by one. So I was like, excuse me, yes please. It sounds so good. I have heard it is sadly not as good as it sounds. Or that maybe what I heard about this one was that it's not exactly what you're expecting, so I'm a little bit scared. So maybe if I lower my expectations now when I go into it, I might still get to enjoy it, but we shall see. The next one is another new release, and that is Frightmares by Eva V. Gibson. And I wanted to pick this one up because our main character works at a house of horrors called Frightmares, and he has an acting job there, and everything is going well. You know, it's an acting job for the summer, but then somebody ends up being killed, somebody that is participates in this house of horrors, so they have to figure out who killed him. Yeah, so it's a whodunit in a house of horrors, so how could I not pick it up? The next book I picked up without even reading what it is about, because this is now one of my out to buy authors, which means everything she puts out there I'm gonna pick it up, and that is Mandy by Stephanie Sparks. You guys know I loved Kill the Babysitter and Scream Queen and The Stepchildren. Everything she has that I have read, I have loved. So I forgot that this book was coming out, and I saw it on people's Instagram, and I'm like, Amazon, check out, yes thank you please. Because I also want to support her. And this is a novella as well, so it's gonna be easy for me to take to Spain and read it. Also another reason why I wanted to pick it up immediately, but I also want to support her as an author. I believe Mandy has a special ability to bring people back from the dead, and then one night a stranger knocks on her door and it's pleading her to please kind of revive his lost friend, something like that. So I'm really excited because why not? It's also completely different from her other stories, so I will report back on this one. And on my quest to read more middle grade, I saw that one of the ones that I had on my wish list was on sale, so I decided to pick it up, obviously, and that is The Hunting by Lindsay Duga. This one, I don't know much about it, but I mean, based on the title and the cover, it's obviously going to be about a ghost in a hunting. That is what I'm expecting from it, and I want to accumulate more of these. I have seen there's many more that have the same format. There's also more by the same author as well. I don't know if there's a specific series by this author, but I'm gonna be picking them up because I want to read more middle grade horror. And the last book that I have to show you is a book that I'm hoping I'm gonna remember that I need to read this in the month of December because that is The New Year's Party by Errol Stein. It's part of the Fear Street series. It's part specifically of the Super Chillers, and yeah, I think this is gonna be perfect for, you know, Christmas season. It is about a Christmas party and I believe somebody ends up dead, or, you know, New Year's Eve party, someone ends up dead. So yeah, I mean, that's all I want, a party and a dead body. Alright guys, so these are some of the books that I have been accumulating, that I have been adding to the collection, and watch out for my next book haul video because that one is gonna be really cool because I have some really cool old vintage paperbacks and some of those covers are chef's kiss, so that one will be coming up on my channel shortly, and I am so glad that I was able to find them. Like, you do not believe how excited I was to get those books. So I hope that you enjoyed this book haul. Let me know down below what you thought about the books that I have picked up, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye!